Hi, welcome to Foreign Around the Philippines. I got my project is still continuing, my quarantine madness project. Been doing lots of work, but none of it really shows until you really start looking closely. I've been fitting moulding to the edges of shelves and just dressing things up a little bit, as you can see, and generally cleaning. There's quite a bit of work to be done, caulking ready for painting, get these gaps black lines when it comes out, the paint is finished, so all of these things have to be filled, any little cracks, anywhere where it will show up as just a black mark. And all of these pillars have to be dressed. As you can see, that makes quite a bit of difference there on that little concealed lighting shelf. Not quite sure what you would call that. You can see there that I fitted all of the moulding there. It takes quite a bit of time, and it still needs little corners to be filled unless you want to spend an absolute eternity getting those corners right. I don't, but it does finish the edge and takes that that rough edge off, you know. So here's other places where you'd have to caulk. I got a patch to put in there. And what I decided when we went out the other day, I bought 3 gallons. It's a tiny house, okay, but still takes quite a lot of paint. We've already used about 3 gallons of paint, and I bought 3 gallons of latex white, so semi-gloss white, and I have the colour tints, small cans of paint that is actually designed as a tint for whatever colour you want to mix up, and I have a selection of those so that I can mix up my own colours. I got a variety of colours, but what happens with these tints, if you put a little in, then you get a very slight, just a very, very slight quality of that colour in the white. So very, very slight off-white in whatever colour that you've used. If you use more of the colour, then the colour, the actual shade goes deeper, and it's a real simple idea. And the more that you use, eventually it will turn very dark. Whatever the colour is that you use, it will turn very dark. So by doing that and choosing a colour that I really would like, and using white as well, supposing I were to paint this white, and then the next panel, as you can see, goes up and around, I would paint that another shade, and so on. But they would all be of the same colour, just different qualities. So that way there's a unity to the whole thing. And when it comes to the desks, I've seen how messy the desks get, how quickly they get messy. So white is not an option. I won't be painting them white. They'll be painted a different colour in a semi-gloss and rubbed down and smeared. So even the breakfast nook still needs quite a bit of work doing to it, and it will need cushions. It'll need loose fitting cushions so that you can get to the storage underneath, and we still haven't blocked off under there. So there's a lot of work. But Beth is now stressing that she would actually like to come home. So, the pressure is on. But mainly it's stuff that can be done while we're here. Okay, so what we would end up doing is we would end up doing the bedroom. So we'll, into the list of priorities, the bedroom will now come in next. We'll make the bedroom so that it is self-contained, in much the same way that the guest house is now self-contained, but we'll be home. Once that is done, I can still continue to work down here, and I can take it into the, what we're calling the outside room, where the day bed is, and I can do most of the work out there so that we don't get too much. Either that, or I'll start working outside on the porch. But you can see that the more you get into the job, the more offcuts, and it just generates stuff which is not initially going to be used, and so it does start to pile up. I got a big clean up to do here. I've cleaned it down as far as this goes. I also have to reupholster the love seat. I have the nice leather cushion for that, as I do for this couch as well. But I decided really that I would really like to do it in cloth covers rather than the leather. It's a very hard look, and at the time it seemed like a great colour for us to have. But now that it's so much lighter in here, I really don't want to have that same colour for the cushions. See, so we'll have a basic white, maybe even the first hue where it's slightly off-white, and then various pieces within the house will be painted different. So that's the plan at the moment. It's coming along, but not always a terrific amount to show. Not like when I was doing the desks, when I'm fairly fast with the carpentry, this kind of carpentry, making furniture, and I'm fairly fast even with just simple hand tools. And the effect at the end of a day's work is quite great, usually. So. And now that we're just looking at doing this trim, it takes time to cut it, shape it. It takes time to do all of this and all of this kind of thing. Actually, it takes time to work out the proportions, exactly what it is that you are trying to do. Sometimes when you're looking at the design in the mind, it's a little bit like looking through a keyhole. You can see a certain amount of what is within, but you can't see all of it. Even if you try to move to the left or the right of a keyhole, you're not going to be able to see that much. And sometimes you get an inkling of what you want to do, of an idea, but it has to evolve because you're only looking through the keyhole of the design mind. And that's where this evolved. I knew I wanted something to go up and over, and all of this then evolved. In fact, I sat over here on this chair, giving it all a good dose of looking at, and in the end I said, well, I'm just going to do something. Because it's a well-known fact that when you're actually building something, it's easier to change something than it is to initially create it. And so you can't sit for too long trying to work out an idea, unless of course you're very good on paper or on the computer, and you can do it that way. I don't do it that way. I like it to unfold by actually making something and putting it up and then seeing what that suggests to you. So we are progressing, but it is slow, and I'm under the gun now because she wants to come home. So, and I understand that. So that means tomorrow we need to really get quite a bit of material, especially for the upstairs bedroom, because we're going to box that ceiling in, hide all of that metal. We're going to insulate the roof, insulate the room, panel the room the same as we did down here. We did all of the paneling down here, but now that I have that technique of just cutting a slot between the studs, this is what I did here. In case you didn't see the video, I just cut out a hole like this between every bay, if you wish, between every set of studs. I cut a hole, and then I slid the insulation down and pushed it up, and that worked very well. When I put the top panel on, I didn't have to cover that hole because this is enough. So that's what's happened in there, in all of this wall, and all there, and along on that wall, along here, and along here. All of this has been insulated, and the same will be done on the other side. Not quite sure what's going to happen on here. This is actually an inside wall, so it begs the question as to what we're going to do about that outside, but that's another day, isn't it? Okay, thanks for looking in, taking an interest if you have, and I'll be back. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.